So I've come back in for a second session with Turbo after a bit of a break, and I'm just going to build on the same thing that I finished on. He's had a bit of time to let down, and now the same, he's already posturing at me. So I can tell he started the posturing, he's wrinkling his left nostril, and his ears are just hardening slightly. So they're very subtle warnings that he needs more space, then a little bit of a stamp of the foot too. And he was also kicking at the ground in the hind end in the first video, which is not that common when they're expressing angst. So I'm not sure if that was to do with me or to do with something on his leg. Or so there he's posturing, arching his neck out, pushing his ears back, and just saying he feels overwhelmed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the pressure. It's obviously too much for him. I'm going to come wider around him. Good man. Good boy. Good boy. So for the small answers he gives me, I'll give him small releases of pressure, just stepping 1 or 2 steps back. Good boy. So that's him posturing there. But he's just very like he doesn't really put much effort into it, luckily. And then because he's had a positive outcome for there, like he went to posture at me and then he stopped himself and now he's processing and taking me in, I'm not going to step away. Good boy. But I like the fact that he managed to switch on his thinking brain and have it take over that need to go into a fight response. So usually in the wild, horses will go into a flight response unless another horse or a human has come into their territory, then they're likely to go into a fight response if they're a lead mare or a lead stallion. In here he can't really run, he can run a bit. So with the fight response, you have to be a bit careful because you can condition them into the fight response. If they can use it as a way to intimidate you, then you can condition them to control you. You can condition them, to basically pin the ears back anytime they want control, and then that can lead to an attack or a charge. I know right now it's a fair response, but if he does it too much, I'll put a little bit of a consequence in, because these horses are so sensitive. Usually, well, they don't need much consequence. Just me flicking my fingers at them will be more than enough, and that will give them a fright and send them away. But it's not like a domesticated horse who you might have to put a huge amount of pressure on if they were to do an attack because they're not afraid of you. These guys are inherently very afraid of us, so we don't need to do a lot to send them off us, unless they're really committed. Good man. I'm going to come round to this hip, see if I can get him off the rail. Oh, he's had a nice lick of the lips. Cool, leave him there. Good boy. And just keep my back to him, drop all my energy in my body. A lot of people, when they're working with horses, their energy is very high, and if you watch me lift my energy with him, with a wild horse, they're very, very honest in how they're feeling. So you watch if I lift my energy, see how he really comes up in himself. So when I'm working with him, my energy is down here, and only when I need something do I come up a little bit. Good boy, and then I come back down again. It's also really exhausting for them because when your energy is raised, they're trying to read your body language because they think something's wrong or that you're going to ask something. And for them to keep their brain switched on for a whole session is quite hard for them. Good. That was really nice. I'm just going to wait till he recovers. There we go. To give him a break, so he faced up, gave me a lovely response. I was about to retreat, but then he left, and so I didn't want to leave on him giving me the wrong answer, so I just waited till he corrected himself, and then I left. Gave him a release of pressure. Good boy. Good answer. Poor demeanour, but we'll work on that. They don't continue on with it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They outgrow it quite quickly. As long as you don't encourage it. I'm going to see if I can get him. Good man. He's done a really beautiful process just there. Went straight into a slow blink. So I can tell there that he's wanting to do a catharsis. I'll give him a little bit of time. So I went to advance. He's completely softened his body expression. His eyes started to slow blink. And usually that, there we go, there's your licking of the lips. And that's them just wanting to process. I was about to say it's usually accompanied by a yawn, and he's looking like he might yawn. We've got the head shake and quite a big lick of the lips. So we'll see. We'll give him a couple of seconds more, but so I'm going to just bring him, hello, he's doing some good charges. Good man. Good boy. That's a cute face. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to see if I can get him to really face up. Good man. He recovers well though. I just want him to yield the hind quarter, bring the forehand across towards me. Good boy. So any movement of his forehand towards me. Good, like there, I'll take that. And I'll have him facing up shortly. Good boy. There we go. That was cute. That was a really nice face up. So I'll give him a break. And he'll tell me if he needs to process during the time, because you'll see his expression change. So now what I'm going to do, I'll come to his other hip. I want forehand towards me, hind quarter, there we go, away. Whether he did that by accident or not, I'll take it. He's already starting to do it. Good. Beautiful. Good man. And now I'm going to see if I can get him to come in. Good, that was beautiful. So there we're beginning the draw. He kind of drifted and got a bit of a unpleasant look on his face, but he took several steps towards me. So step away, drop my energy. Come back in, and I can give them longer breaks in between too, especially if there's a lot of tension in it, in the horse. I'm going to get a grumpy look there. My goal is there, stay there. Good job. Just where he can plant his feet, stand solid. He's almost ready to do a big release, but I'd say a couple of questions more. Good boy. Good boy. So he leant in towards me, so I hopped back. Good boy. So this is quite a big question. Good. So I just kept the pressure on until he found relaxation. And so now, because I've built that foundation up, I'm going to come in with a bit bigger question. So I just want him right there. Good boy. Come around to this hip. Good. He's just processing there. And this is him doing, like, this is quite a bit of pressure on him. But not enough to go into a full-blown fight or flight, which is good, and he's not in a freeze either. Usually a freeze is where they'll just lock all 4 legs on the ground and they'll go really inward, and then if you get too close then they'll go into a fight or flight. So I'm going to wait till he's finished licking his lips. I'll find a place shortly to finish on, because he's already improved a huge amount in 2 very short sessions. But walk in. I've come in big. So big question. I'll take that. Just all that was a nicer demeanour, but I'll take it. If he wants to, he can leave in that direction. There's heaps of room. Good boy. He went to leave, but recovered. This is really nice. So I'm going to leave now, give him a big reward. He's actually very sweet. And he'll be ready for a process soon, I'd say. But I'm just going to see. Well, so that was a slightly bigger posture with a bit more intent. So I went a little bit bigger with my body language. Whoa. And it's because I've come in with a lot of pressure. So I'm going to go back and ask him smaller questions now. So that was my fault. I came in too many big questions in a row and overwhelmed him. So now all I'm going to do is come in. Good, I'll take that, both ears forward. And just go back. Oh, there we go. We've got a nice release there. Good boy. Good, I'm going to find a place to finish shortly. Still looking. Good boy. Good. Whoa. I'm going to leave there. It would have been really cool to hold his ground and seen what he would have done to follow. But it's such a cool place to finish where it's me leaving before he leaves. If I had stayed there, I could have risked that he became overwhelmed and then left, and then I would have had to do more work to get back to a positive place to finish. So that was a really cool approach. He was really brave, had a beautiful demeanour on his face. I very quietly managed to turn and walk away. Sometimes when you walk away you can give them a fright, so I had to be careful about that. But that was a very cool session. I really like him. I think he's really sensible. He's very, very polite. The Kaimanawas are always very polite, normally, in how they communicate their fear or not understanding what you're asking of them. If you miss those subtle pre-indicators where he's doing that slight posturing and you keep putting pressure on, that's when you could have a proper charge. But if you are good at reading body language and you can adapt and change the way you ask the question or just quietly work through it, you can have some really cool positive responses. And even though he's giving me a fight response now, it is not his nature at all. It is only a reflection of him feeling overwhelmed by such a new environment and the fact that he's got people working with him for the very first time in his life. But I'm very, very happy with that response. He's starting to slow blink on the left eye, now the right eye, and he'll go into his own. There we go, he's already licking. So usually the slow blink starts first. Some horses will dip their head to the ground and then go into a catharsis. This guy here, like most horses, will slow blink. Then, and sometimes they can take sometimes up to 5-10 minutes to really let go. If you're too close, some horses won't let go because they need space and they don't feel safe enough to let down. He's feeling safe enough to let down with me this close, which is great. But if I thought, oh, he's really holding tension, I would actually go to the edge of the yard, and if I still thought he was holding tension, I would leave the yard completely and leave him for half an hour or an hour just to process and go through what he's done. So he's had 2 really good sessions. He's finished nice and relaxed. This is always a good sign. And then tomorrow I'll come back and just go through the same thing. I think I'll be touching him tomorrow, or he'll be touching me, which is cool. Or maybe not, I say that, and then sometimes it can be like 2 weeks.